Welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be going over how to do a notary appointment from start to finish. Super duper easy. I'm going to walk you through exactly how to get yourself set up right before the appointment, how to, just set your table, the whole thing, checking IDs, filling out your journal, filling out the notarial certificates, getting paid, the most important part. By the end of this video, you will learn how easy it is to do a notary appointment. And if you are a commissioned notary public, you haven't had your first appointment, hopefully this video will help you feel confident enough to go out there and get it going. Let's go. So first thing I have is my notary folder. This is just something I got from Walmart on sale. Nothing special. The very first thing that we will see in my folder is my notary appointment guide. This is a one-pager that basically will just give you the steps real quick on what I need to do, a brief description of an acknowledgement and jurat, identification documents accepted, and what to say for an acknowledgement and jurat. The next thing I have is my journal, because I wouldn't be a notary public without it, right? I'm gonna have my journal handy dandy. The next two things are going to be your notarial certificates. Always have loose leaf certificates. These are from Easy Notary class. These are just two, I think they're 25 or 30 pads. This is the acknowledgement and the jurat. These are the acknowledgements and jurats. And again, you can purchase these on easynotaryclass.com. That's all I have in my folder. Now, in my little notary bag, I have my stamp. This is my regular big stamp. I have a slim stamp, and before I get asked, I'm gonna tell you why I have two stamps. Sometimes on the notarial certificates there might be a very small space, and so using the slimmer stamp will avoid you having to use a notarial loose leaf certificate form. But if the form that you're getting, this bigger stamp doesn't fit and this little one doesn't fit, then you're just gonna have to add one of these. But I think it's great to have the option of the slim stamp and then the regular size stamp. The next thing that I have is, this is the California disclosure statement stamp. If your notarial certificate does not have this statement, it's not valid in California. So you have to make sure that the wording is on there, and if it is not on there, then I'm gonna stamp it with this. These stamps, I purchased them from Easy Notary Class. Great price. They have a new starter kind of package. Next thing I have, blue pens and black pens. Super duper important, although mostly you will be using blue pens because for most of the documents it's blue, since this is the best way that they can tell that it's not a copy and it's an original. But sometimes you will have very specific documents that say no blue ink, only black ink, so always have both. The other thing that you will need, I just don't have it right here on me, but it is a thumbprint. The other thing that you will need, especially here in California, is a thumbprint ink pad. I don't have it on me. I don't know why. I don't know where it's at, but let me actually get it. Hold on. Okay. The next thing I have in my notary bag is a little thumbprint pad, especially here in the state of California. I'm not sure about other states, like Texas doesn't require this, but California does. You will need to have a right thumbprint for certain documents in California, and they have to be right next to that signature line is that thumbprint. So if you're in Cali, you're gonna need one of these. And again, this is all included in the Easy Notary Class starter package. If you are doing loan signings especially, but it's great to have it in your bag anyways, a little sort quick so that you can just go through the pages easily and not have to like lick your fingers and all that. So that's all I have in my notary bag. And of course I have my little like ID badge thing, although I don't really use it. There's really no people that have asked me to show ID. So all of this, I keep it in a little bag like this. I didn't go out and buy anything expensive. This was just an old makeup bag. That's where I have all of this ready to go. Now, let's go do our appointment. I showed you how to get ready right beforehand, so let's head over and actually do the appointment. So when the signers arrive, or when you arrive at the location, depending if you're a mobile notary or in office, first thing is first, checking IDs. There is a list in my quick start guide that lets me know what IDs are acceptable here in the state of California, and I do recommend that you do this for your state if you're not in California. The next thing is to make sure that the ID does match the document that you are getting. So the name on the document has to match the ID. The general rule of thumb for IDs is the document should have more information than the ID. So if on the ID you see a full first name, full middle name, and full last name, and yet on the document all you see is the full first name, initial middle name, and the last name, you wouldn't be able to accept that, because that middle initial could stand for anything. So the document has to have more information than the ID. And one thing to remember here in the state of California, if an ID is expired, you are still allowed to take it if it is within the past 5 years. Again, all this information, I learned it from Easy Notary class. There's no other way I would have remembered that. So if the signers arrive and they don't have a notarial certificate on the document, they might ask you, what kind of notarial certificate are you doing? Always return that question with, which one do you need? Because as a notary public, you are not allowed to tell them what document to use, what notarial act to use for that document. Only the authority that gave that document can tell you what to use. A jurat, an acknowledgement, verification of oath, whatever notarial act it is, the authority that gave that document has to let you know. There's no other way around it. If the person is very insistent, you have to find a way to get in contact with that person that handed them the document, or whatever, if it's, you know, California DMV, whatever it is, calling them and making sure that they tell you what needs to get done. Is it an acknowledgement or is it a jurat? What type of notarial act are we doing? So you can tell them the difference, but you can't let them have you choose. It is illegal to do that. As a notary public, it is seen as giving legal advice. And unless you are an attorney notary, then you don't have the rights to tell anyone, I think you should do an acknowledgement, or I think you should do a jurat. Description of an acknowledgement, and again, this is on the notary appointment cheat sheet guide. An acknowledgement means I signed it. So the purpose is to confirm that you have appeared in front of a notary and acknowledge your signature on the document. So an acknowledgement can be signed before it even gets to you. Again, an acknowledgement is stating I signed it. A jurat is I swear to it. A jurat certifies that you have sworn an oath or affirmed the truthfulness of a document or statement before a notary. So those are the two differences, a jurat and an acknowledgement. And then of course, what do you say? For an acknowledgement, you're going to say, do you acknowledge that this is your signature and you are signing voluntarily? For a jurat, you will have to say, please raise your right hand, and they will have to raise their right hand, okay? Do you swear or affirm that this document is true? They have to verbally say yes. They cannot nod. No, it has to be a verbal and their hand has to be up. then they may sign the document for a jurat. Also, a list at the bottom of the notary appointment guide that lets you know what is normally used, a jurat or an acknowledgement, for certain documents, so you can kind of tell the signer, but again, they need to tell you what they want to get done. Next thing is actually filling out the notarial certificate. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to zoom in onto my desk so I can show you how I fill out an acknowledgement, a jurat, and then how we fill this out in our journal. I'm going to show you an example. The first thing we want to do for a jurat is, and for an acknowledgement, always making sure that we write down the county that we are signing the document. So not the county that you have your notary commission, but the county where you are actually signing the document. So we're just going to write this in just for training purposes. Okay. Subscribed and sworn to or affirmed before me on this. You put the day. Let's just say, I don't even know what day it is today. It's the 9th day of July 24. By, this is the name of the signers in front of you. Prove to me on the basis of satisfactory evidence to be the person or persons who appeared before me. So, this is the name, or names, signers. And then, this is a very, very, very important part. You have to make sure that the notarial certificate is grammatically correct. What does that mean? You see how there's this little part right here, persons? If it's only one, make sure you do this. Cross that off. If it is two, you will circle the S to make sure that you are letting whoever is receiving this document know that there was two signers or one signer. And then always, if there's any space left between here, go ahead and do this. This is what is going to minimize fraud, because the last thing you want is for you to halfway fill this out. Someone goes in afterwards and writes in that second signer, puts in persons when it was really just one, and your stamp is already on there and your signature. So you do have to make sure that this is grammatically correct. Next thing you do is sign. And then, that's not my real signature. Then you go ahead and stamp, and this could be just like the regular size stamp because it fits here. Okay, there it is. Here is something super duper important that I need to tell you. If this stamp does not come out correct, this will not be accepted. And the person that came to you is going to come back and they're going to be pretty upset because they had to come back and get this redone. So when you do your stamp, you want to make sure all four corners are there. You can clearly see the seal. Your name comes out, your commission number, the county, your expiration date. This as well, the ENC1, has to be visible. If for some reason it were to have came out like, let me just do it right here. If my stamp were to come out like this, unacceptable. This will get rejected. This is unacceptable. It has to be a complete stamp, okay? Same thing goes for your acknowledgement. You have to make sure that these are grammatically correct. And this is the biggest one because there's multiple parts that you would have to circle or cross out. So again, if you have multiple people, you will circle the S's. Is or are, he, she, they, their, capacities, their, persons, persons, persons. Now it's grammatically correct. If this was number 1 and number 2 person, see how now it makes sense when you read it? Personally appeared, thing 1 and thing 2, who proved to me on the basis of satisfactory evidence to be the persons whose names are subscribed to, and again, just I want to make sure that it is correct. Everything is correct. Cross these out, cross these out. Now it's correct. Then I can sign and stamp this one too. Now let's go over to my journal. I'm only going to show you what we have as an example because I cannot show you any other information. So very first thing that we do is we write down our notary fee. Usually it's $15, but you can charge less than this. You can't charge more. That's just for California. Your state, if you're in a different state, it'll be a little bit different. This is the date and time of the notarial act. Always be sure to do this. This is your notary type. So it's an acknowledgement, a jurat, verification of oath. Make sure you write the whole thing out. Acknowledgement, jurat. This next part is your document type or title. So just put the actual title of that document that you are going to notarize, not this. This is called a notarial certificate. Then you're going to need to fill out their name and the address. This is only for California because for Texas, I didn't need to have any address information. Credible witness or optional additional information. This is, just like this, if they were unable to speak, communicate directly with notes, nothing to say, or if there was one credible witness, and then the signature and name of the credible witness. A credible witness, this is not a, notary, a general notary course or anything. Learn more about it in Easy Notary class because these are super important, and a credible witness is another way for you to verify someone's identity, but there's certain steps to take on it. The next one is your identity established by satisfactory evidence. Here in California, we don't just accept for someone to show up in front of us and, for us to say that we personally know them. They have to still show us their ID, even if it's our mom, dad, it doesn't matter who. We need to see their ID. The type is what kind of, if it's California driver's license, California ID. Issuing agency, it says California, but if it's like the DMV, make sure that you put California DMV. US passport, I just, put the US. Make sure you put that serial number and the expiration date. And then it's their signature and the thumbprint. Like I told you guys, that thumbprint here in California is important for a lot of the documents. So general rule of thumb, pun intended, is that I will take the thumbprint of every single person because I'd rather just have extra information than to be missing a thumbprint for a grant deed and then have the state contact me about that. So this is your journal and that is how you fill it out. That was the actual notarial appointment. The next thing is getting paid. So I use Stripe and I use Zelle, and I mean, if they don't have any of that, then I'll take cash. How I do it on Stripe is I have the app on here already, and I basically just, all I have to do is just create that payment link like this, and then just click send to their phone number or their email, whatever they would like. Now I have my link and I can send it out so that I can get paid. Like I said, another option is Zelle. So easy thing to do is just connect your personal phone number to your Zelle and have that go into your business bank account if that's what you're doing. Another thing is just to screenshot the QR code from either the Zelle app that you have or the bank app that you have. Just screenshot the QR code and they can just scan it and pay you right away. Other than that, you are basically done. That was the notary appointment. That's how fast, easy, simple it is. There's really nothing else to it. So that was all that there is to it. The very, very last thing to do is just hand over your business card. Make sure that they have this, even though they might have found you online, whatever. It's always nice to hand it, and you know, they could have it in their in their bag or something, in their wallet. That was it for this training video. If this was helpful, please let me know, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.